Okay, right, we're now on the final session. The next panel will be led by Dior Halili about digital transformation, the strategies and the challenges. I'll hand it over to you, Dior. Introduce your panel, and a round of applause, please.
I can. I mean, I guess I'll have a test. Awesome.
You working?
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Dior Halili. I'm the moderator of the panel on the topic of the future of digital transformation, strategies, challenges, and innovation. I'm the ICT Sector Lead of USAID Compete Activity. Today's topic is about digital transformation and a couple of, let's say, associated features with this big domain. I'll start by a short introduction because even though it's a cliche, we should start with a definition and then kind of boil down and disseminate towards the subtopics. I think everybody knows that it's the process of embedding technology in business process that enhances efficiency. And there's a couple of benefits associated by this process. Agility, enhanced processes, efficiency, adding value to customers, employees and stakeholders. But with all these benefits comes great challenges. So we're here to talk about those today. And I'll start with the first, let's say, subtopic on exploring the two-sided coin of digital transformation. In one hand, we have the digital transformation enablers, a group that kind of enables the digital transformation process, either ICT or tech-affiliated entities, but also those that produce the blueprint, and on the other hand, the end beneficiaries, cross-industrial stakeholders and beneficiaries. So to discuss these and more today with me, I have Lucas van Zallinger, Director of Digital Innovation and Transformation at Customer Services at Siemens Health. I have Elena Marinova, the President of Musala Soft. And I have Celik Nimani, the Managing Director of Southeast Europe at Carta. Thank you for joining me on this panel. I'll start with you, Lucas, on the first topic. Please give us your 2 cents. Thank you.
You mean directly on your first question with the beneficiaries? Or?
Yeah. I mean, feel free to add or kind of like approach on an industry-specific example. And I mean, the question is pretty generic, but let's keep it on a strategic level.
Or answer to another question.
Yeah. So the first question kind of applies to all the 3 speakers, and then we'll kind of disseminate and do it on an interactive mode.
Okay, then let me start maybe with an example, because this is, as you rightly mentioned, is a very broad strategic topic, the topic of digital transformation. So talking about Siemens Healthineers, I would say that we're in a double role. So we are on one side, of course, a beneficiary, but towards our customers, we are to a certain extent also an enabler. And maybe a very quick example, which I think epitomizes this topic quite well, is the topic of innovation, which I think is directly linked also to digital transformation, because at the end it is about coming up with new services, products, procedures, structures. For many years we have been struggling quite substantially with how to effectively manage the innovation process, especially the generation of ideas for new products, for new services, especially digital innovations, and how to manage that. And luckily, digital transformation helped us a lot. So we introduced a very interesting innovation platform. The good thing is also our key partner, Innovatios, who has enabled this, is also here today. So I don't know if Katarina is already there, but she will explain you more about that later on. But to cut it short, they helped us substantially by digitalizing this idea generation process and also to rapidly develop and prototype the ideas. And there were also some organizational aspects linked to this digitalization of the innovation process. But I don't want to talk too long, so maybe this is also something for the challenges later on.
Yeah, thank you. Elena?
Okay, then maybe moving from the specific example to the broader picture for a moment. And what is part of the digital transformation? So what are the aspects? Cloud, obviously. So we kind of think that in this room that everything is in the cloud, but it's not the case. For example, in many European institutions, the systems are not on the cloud. So that's one thing that has to happen. And it might not sound super exciting at that stage, but it has to happen. AI, for sure, and everybody's talking about AI. Obviously, that's also a significant part of the digital transformation nowadays. Then it is the convergence of the physical and the digital world, and that's happening on different levels, and my favorite new word, phygital. Then we have the security, the cyber security, the risks, and we covered in the previous talks quite a lot about that. We kind of didn't cover the sustainability topic, which is a huge thing, and it has and will continue having bigger and bigger impact. So for me, these are the main pillars, spheres of digital transformation that will have a lot of attention now and in the coming years. And then for the two sides, I would also add one side before digging deeper, maybe after we make a round in the customers and the companies. And the third side would be the humans, because at the end of the day, whether we're talking about our clients, our software IT companies, the developers, whatever, at the end of the day, we're talking about humans. And not in this room, but if we go out of this room, the majority of the people are still scared to death by digital transformation and especially AI. So they consider, if not AI being the robots that will come and kill the people and that will be the end of the humankind, at least that AI will take their jobs, and not without the reason. And I'll give you a little example here. I was talking a couple of months ago with somebody. She's making PhD in economics, so it's not an average person. It's, you know, part of the elite segment. And we touched the topic of ChatGPT, actually, not really AI, but ChatGPT. And I share that I'm using it very much for different purposes. And she was like, I will never open ChatGPT. And I was like, what do you mean you'll never open ChatGPT? I don't know what it will do to me. So we may speak about future things, but we have these people, and that's the majority of the people, and some of these people are in the boardrooms. So we need the transformation, and the transformation will happen when everybody start using AI seamlessly, like they don't feel it like a first-hand encounter, but something that is part of the systems that are used to, part of your furniture, part of your home, part of everything. And then you realize that actually you are using AI and it's not that frightening. So that's, I think, will be the moment of when AI and the digital transformation will get another kick forward. I'll give it to you.
Same question for me.
Yeah, your take on, maybe contextualize it also from this landscape, and maybe share your experience on that as well.
Yeah, sure. So every year that I'm part of KosICT, digital transformation is one of the main topics.
Yeah.
And it's one of the main topics everywhere you go. What we should have in mind is digital transformation this year. We have the data and AI hype, and you've seen from all the sessions today, everybody's talking about data, AI. And at Carta, one of the things that we discovered while talking with CEOs and executives across Europe and the US is that more than 75% of the tech CEOs are having tech anxiety, meaning that they know that they need to invest in digital transformation, which is data and AI. But then there's the question, what to do with it, where to put it. Yep. And among the questions that we asked when we entered the room with the client is, in many organizations today, you still have questions who owns data and AI as a department within the company. It's still not defined. Yeah. While on the other hand, we just recently saw the release of GPT latest update, which can turn a wireframe into a code, can read CT scans and tell you like a doctor what's happening on the CT scan. So you have organizations struggling to understand what's happening, and then on the other hand, AI is moving at a massive fast pace. So it's not a question of like investing or doing digital transformation, it's a question of like how fast can you move, and do you find the right partner to help you on the road to do that digital transformation together with you, based on what's happening lately. Because if you think 2 years ago, 3 years ago, the approach to thinking was different. If you think this year, 6 months ago, organizations were thinking different, and now you have Vertex AI, different technologies being released every month that at their core have AI. And we also saw the release of Microsoft Copilot, Google Copilot, which is becoming an AI tool for the everyday use for the people. And even customers are becoming smarter. So if we look at, like, for example, financial sector, banks in the past would have like complicated banking policies, how to like return money to customers or do bank account maintenance. Now you can just pull that page in ChatGPT and ask it to summarize it for you, and then you as a client can understand quickly. So banks have to become quickly innovative to understand what's going on with the market. So this would be the thinking into the two sides of the coin in the industry of today.
Thank you. And I think we all agree that digital transformation presents unique opportunities to business and organizations kind of to drive innovation and growth. But with that, it kind of forces the critical thinking, right? We're going towards how do we enable the organization to cope with the services. And we're boiling down to the challenges, and I would like to stop at 2 strategic roadblocks, and I know this one applies also to all 3 of you because you kind of represent different organizations or entities, and you work with different clients or end beneficiaries in this case. 2 challenges that I would like to highlight, and maybe by answering this question also with a practical example, is siloed organization and the deficiency of change management structure. When embarking on digital transformation journey, I am pretty sure that all 3 of you have encountered such issues, and I would like to know, but I'm sure the audience would like also to have that information on what did you do and what was your approach on that. Lucas, let's start with you.
Yeah, so indeed, I think the main challenge with digital transformation is hardly ever the technology part, as you rightly said. It's more the organizational structure. I mean, personally, I come from a rather big organization, so Siemens Healthineers, we have roughly 70,000 people, and in my area, we're working for customer services roughly 16,000, so this is huge. And it is a big issue. What we try to do, I mean, there would be a lot of potential solutions, so probably the most effective one would be to rebuild the organizational structure, but this is very hard if you have to do business and you're running your business. So what we try to do, for instance, is again, to try to optimize the processes, so to get away from a classical hierarchical organization into an organization which is more project-based and process-based. Also using tools like this platform I mentioned previously, connecting people, also allowing for interaction across silos. But at the end of the day, we also learned that technology per se doesn't make the trick, so you also have to bring the human factor. And what we did, for example, we introduced these, we call it Shark Tank formats. I guess most of you know this from the US TV channels. We introduced this in a big classical German corporate, so it was quite a game changer for our management. In the beginning, they were quite nervous about this format, but it worked really well to bring people together, to pitch new ideas to our management, to have a discussion, pretty open also. It's not a town hall, but it's very open and transparent. So you can pitch your idea, you defend it, and then our management decides how we pursue. What we also did, I think if you want to overcome this problem and promote digital transformation, you open up, even as a big corporate. So therefore, I'm a big fan in an ecosystem approach. So you have to try to work with external partners to collaborate. We have introduced so-called startup talks, where we invite regular startups so they can present not only what they're doing in terms of new products or solutions, but also to present to our management how they're managing their companies. We heard a lot about Scrum, OKR, and other methods which might be applied in startups but not in big corporates. So just like to trigger the idea with the management, this has also very good reputation. And by the way, I think also these opening up big corporate structure is also a good chance for Kosovo companies, IT companies, because we have a skills gap in Germany, and looking at digital transformation, there's so many new technology trends. Celik just mentioned it, and the speed, not even Siemens is able to follow that, not even in the AI era. So we need external partners, and I think that is also a good opportunity for companies from the region and from Kosovo with very specific vertical specialization and technical specialization to become partners.
Yeah, Elena, your take into that as well. I know you have encountered such issue, and we talked that topic before we came in the panel. So.
Yeah, so I won't compete on size, obviously. But just to put the perspective, we are 700-800 people at Musala. We got acquired by Kinshift, which is 3,500 people currently together with us, and that's part of a 9 billion company which is called KKCG. So kind of still in a big environment. And why I'm giving this perspective, because we also heard earlier, and we hear now from Lucas, that it's very important to keep the innovation. So it's a process, and it doesn't matter how exactly you do it, but all the time you have to be very inventive so that people are involved, people are aware of what is happening, and in the same time they're active and proposing their own solutions. And in the context of digital transformation, I'm always saying that we are a company that provides digital transformation to our clients, but in the same time, we ourselves are constantly in digital transformation because we change our own systems. Some of them we buy, some of them we develop internally. Then we have to think about the solutions that we're giving to our clients. And so, for example, in the beginning of this year, we were discussing AI. And it turns out, and I guess that's the case in most of your companies, because most of you are having or working at IT software companies, one thing is using AI in the development process. Another thing is using AI in the supportive functions in HR and finance and so on. And then a third thing is providing AI solutions or digital transformation solutions to your clients. So these three go hand in hand somehow, but have different challenges in them and different angle through which you look at them. But the bottom line is everybody has to be convinced that the digital transformation is making good at the end of the day. It brings technology to pushing the boundaries of magic, and our world becomes easier, nicer, more relaxed, and in the same time more challenging. So an example, a German example, in the beginning of this year at CES, BMW introduced their Neue Klasse. And the car is called D, which is Digital Emotional Experience. So, emotional car. So, if you think 10 years ago, you go to the car and you're dressed in a certain way and it matches your clothes. That could be magic. Now, it's something quite simple, a simple example of what can be done with technology. But there are much deeper things we can achieve in healthcare and in governments and so on and so on. So these are all things that we need to embrace and put the positive aspects. And then for the job security, maybe a point on that too, because at some point it was AI will replace the developers. But I absolutely believe that's not the case. It will change a lot the role of the developers and the function. But it will not replace them, because there is a paradox that, and we see it in the last 50 years or so, the more technology we have, the more people we need to develop this technology. And if 50 years ago or so, it was zeros and ones and cards in these machines, then it was millions of lines of code, then it was low code, now it is AI. It just another transformation. And those that adapt and those that embrace it, they will continue developing. And those that don't, they will just drop. But we still need a lot of tech people.
Thank you. Celik?
So rolling back to the original question, which is how do you work with isolated silos in companies to help them go through digital transformation?
Yes.
So you have to understand which sector, which industry vertical you're working with. So as Carta, we work primarily with financial sector, public sector, and retail, and other sectors as well, but these are like the focused verticals that we have. And they're vastly different from one another. Like financial sector, banks predominantly have big teams, big structure, lots of layers of management, but they're trying to understand to move faster, but they can't because there's so many processes involved. So when you join as a service provider to help them build a new solution, you have to carefully start working with one person after another, trying to initially educate them, and then move step after step with showcasing results based on data and based on actual concrete projects that you're delivering for them. Because honestly speaking, we have situations where like there's big companies in the past that have worked with banks that have overcharged them with services but haven't actually delivered a lot for them. And now every company, not just banks, but every company in every sector is looking to save money. And also there's sustainability that was mentioned. So like B Corp is a term that companies are focusing on, and cost savings. So you have to bundle these as a package together with the solution that you're implementing for them. And the more and more that you work, the more and more you showcase that you can actually deliver. So as a service provider, as a company, you have to be working effectively and showcasing results in order to convince them that you're the partner to go. Yep. And it takes time to do this, especially in big companies. My colleague Ben Pittman was mentioning Santander and Toyota, big organization, big corporate organization. There's layers after layers of people that you have to convince to do change, to implement a new solution, to experiment with the technology. It's not the same like we had Paysera earlier, for example, a fintech company. Sometimes fintechs can move much faster than a bank with a new solution, and then banks have to chase fintechs with new technologies in the market, and this creates a competitive advantage. That's why smaller companies sometimes move way faster than big corporations in the industry.
Early adopters, as they say. Yeah, I think we're 10 minutes, we're 20 minutes in our discussion panel, but I'll like to use the remaining 10 minutes of the time and open for questions from the audience. I know there's a couple of digital transformation either enablers, but also fanatics that would like to pose a question to either three of you or one of you. If somebody has a specific, either industry-specific question, but more or more a strategic level, please. I won't need it.
Okay.
Let's see.
How do you measure if a digital transformation is actually effective?
To everyone. Well, so Ben, you put me in a tough spot here with that question. So there's different angles how you can measure the success of a digital transformation process into the company. One, there would be like the actual results based on the data that you're gathering while looking at the data together with the client on the client side. Two would be how fast are you managing to go through the process without breaking too many things. But we know like in often case scenarios, you have to, if you want to do meaningful results for the client, you have to jump in and break some things, some traditional things that have been going on in the company for so many years. And the key decision makers in the company have to be on your side in order to support you to do this change, because then they will know that on the long run, this will mean meaningful results for them. And then, of course, there's the happiness of the people in the room. So the human aspect, the side that we're talking about, because we're mentioning AI and everything, but we also have to keep in mind that people have to be happy on both ends, both sides of the coin. So both the company that is offering the services and also the client that are making use of the services. And if you have all of those things in the mix, then you could have the right formula for a successful digital transformation implementation.
Maybe just adding to this, I agree with everything. Adding the happiness of the end client, whatever the end client is. So in our case, for example, in many cases we work with the IT departments of some huge companies. So it is important the client of our client to be happy. For example, in a bank, we would work in many cases with their IT department, but then the business has to be happy. So the new systems, the new functionalities they see have to be better than the previous, and better is quite subjective. It can be much better technology-wise, but not better from the perspective of the end client. So that's one thing, and the other thing that I'd like to add is the maintainability. So the cost of maintaining the new systems has to be lower than the cost of the old systems.
Yeah, also adding to that, depends on the role. If you would ask my boss, the answer would be super simple. The revenue generated by data-enabled services or in products or digital-enabled services, so this is a pretty blunt answer. But then also customer satisfaction, and we're actually also measuring that also through digital means. In my personal role, it's pretty much our funnel. So we have a funnel of ideas, let's say, or projects in terms of digital transformation, innovation. And there it would be really to see how many ideas at which stage are how successful. Yeah? So how many ideas do we have in the initial phase of the funnel, and how many make it into the rollout and implementation.
I think we had another question. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Birta. I am leading the civic tech organization Open Data Kosovo. And in my experience, I have a lot of challenges in this digital transformation processes, and I think this is the tip of the iceberg of the challenges. And I would like to hear from you about the part of the human transformation in this process, because that has been like one of the biggest challenges, the actual transformation. Thank you.
Yeah, if I can start, so that's a good question, Beta. And one of the things that you experience a lot is people in the public sector in Kosovo have gone through a lot of digital transformation. So they started with a typewriting machine, and then they went on to DOS machines, then Windows XP, and then tablets and iPhone and VR and you name it. And now the type of work that you're doing, which is opening up information to public, it's also a change in their mindset. So based on the education and the experience that they have built up throughout the years, it requires a lot of work, I presume, on your end to educate them that these information can be publicly accessible, and also how to use them and how to expose such information. So it's a long journey that you have to go through with them. Some people will accept the change. Unfortunately, sometimes we have situations where you have people rolling back to an old system, the way that it used to be after the project is implemented and delivered. So you need to have proper supervision to make sure that that new momentum, new technology is being used the way it was supposed to be. And then you will have also some people that just decide to stop there because they would be like, okay, this is I have enough of all this digital transformation that I've went through, so I'll leave this to the younger generations to take it over from me.
Awesome. Elena, if you have something to add to that, but shortly. If not, I would like to take one more question and then just complete the... Awesome. I think it was another question.
Exxon from TevStack, and my question is, based on your experience, which one of the industries needs AI transformation the most, and which one is more prone to easily adapt to AI transformation and kind of will profit the most out of it?
I'll try to make it very short. Honestly, because I'm from the healthcare industry, I think this is one of the industries which needs it the most and can also generate one of the biggest values out of it, because it will make a quantum leap in terms of diagnostics and also in treatment. I mean, I'm not going to elaborate all the fields, but it's going to make a massive change in how we can treat people, how we can heal, how we can also provide access to care to patients in other countries, in underserved countries. So it will be absolutely a game changer in healthcare. However, it will take a while because this is an industry which is highly regulated, also for good reasons, because you don't want to prototype and experiment with patients. But that would be my quick answer from the healthcare part.
I can add to that, I agree, because it's our health and our lives. But on the other hand, if we don't trust this transformed healthcare system, it won't be able to help us. So trusting this transformation in healthcare will be held by all the other industries where the technology will be more and more immersive, and we'll get used to it before trusting our health and lives.
If you look at the information, the talk everywhere on the internet, everybody will say every industry needs AI transformation, AI implementation. It's the hype, it's the momentum. So everybody's talking about it, similar to people were talking about crypto, NFTs. So but AI and data is different, and we are partners with Google and Microsoft, and we have access to all the latest Gen AI technologies. And healthcare sector is a real important sector that will be a game changer when AI is probably implemented, but there's huge amount of regulations on it, and especially when it comes to data and customer privacy, patient data. But there's also like agriculture, agtech as we call it. We work with big companies in the US, and there's huge amount of impact that AI can actually do in the manufacturing process and also in the whole food supply chain, because we know that with the ongoing war in Ukraine versus Russia, and now with all the latest developments, food supply for people around the world is becoming a sensitive topic. So we need to be careful of that sector as well. But I believe like healthcare, agtech is one of the sectors where we'll see the biggest change, but I wouldn't exclude any other sector because it can be applied in most of them.
Okay, punctual. Thank you for your insightful comments and replies. I want to thank the audience for being very interactive. We see each other in the next editions to come. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.